Really love to draw penises, but this was just a super fun. This is the funnest car I've ever owned in my entire life, and I'm up over 65, 70 cars that I've owned in my lifetime now. This is by far the most fun car I've ever had. We did everything in this. We autocrossed it, we road raced it, we drag raced it, we pulled the camper with it on weekends. And I mean, it was just awesome. Pulling the camper, the car is so low, the camper was actually taller than the car, so people from behind, it looked like the camper was just driving down the road all by itself. And we drag raced people with the camper on the back. We had bikes on the roof, and it was just an absolute ball until one fateful day. And the steering went out at the exact wrong time, wrong place, and this is the result of it. So yeah, kind of sad, but I'm thankful to be alive. And the only reason why I am, honestly, is because of the perimeter frame that I added to these X-frame cars. Are the worst design possibly engineered ever for any given car. They're just absolutely terrible. If I didn't add that perimeter frame on both sides, this would have pushed all the way back, even farther back yet. And this is all dented in right here from the motor pushing all the way back. It ripped the motors off the mounts, it ripped the motor mounts, it ripped the tranny mounts right off of the frame as well. Pushed the motor and the tranny back far enough where it collapsed the firewall. It also ripped all the welds out of the top of the dash. It pushed the steering column back, and I ate the steering wheel with my chin. And luckily I had a helmet on when this happened, so I only got 28 stitches in the bottom of my chin anyway, so I still ate the steering wheel. The steering column pushed back, but another thing that happened is the floors all the way across buckled, so the driver and passenger seats moved forward and tilted forward. Well, the steering column came out and the whole dash came back up, so the dash is sitting in at like a 40-degree angle now. And unfortunately, the only thing that was really left to do to this car was the paint and body work on it. The interior was pretty much done. The motor and drivetrain was done and dialed in like it never been dialed in before this well. It was just an unbelievable combination of gear ratio, tire size. The turbo spooled instantaneously. It never ever done what it did when I first autocrossed it. Was just a disaster. This thing was so dialed in, and it was just so fun to drive. And just like that, game changer, life changer. I still can't walk right. I still walk with a really bad limp. I can't walk on side hills. I'm hurting. You know, this is not. It's never going to be the same again. I'm not going to be able to walk the same. I'm not going to be able, but I'm still here to tell about it. So, hey, how can I complain about that? Like, because I added the double U-joint steering shaft and the rack and pinion and the perimeter frame that I added to it, helped the car from collapsing completely. and the steering column from pushing back farther yet and decapitating me. So because that's right where the impact was right on the frame horn. And these X-frame cars, if you're not familiar with them, they have 0 perimeter frame on them, and the middle of the frame is only this wide, and no matter where it gets hit on any 4 corners, it folds up right in the middle of the car. And I'd be willing to bet anything that this is the car that they started coming out with crumple zones for, because this particular car, the crumple zone is in the driver and passenger seat. I mean, it's centered up. The narrowest part of the frame is right in the driver and passenger seat, right in the middle, and that's where it would fold up. So if you hit any corner, the car buckles right in the middle of the car and folds it right up, right where the driver and passenger is sitting. So I'm going to throw a link in to this X-frame crash, Impala versus Impala crash test, and check this video out. If you own an X-frame car, you know what these things are about, watch this video, because I watched it right after I bought this car, and I would have never guessed in a million years that I would have been able to find out the results, but it saved my life. So by doing that, it for one made the car handle so much better, and it didn't flex so much like this. It saved my life. So in order to get these things a little bit safer, you know, it's so easy to start adding power to it and everything nowadays. Do a little due diligence and put some safety into your car too. I highly recommend a collapsible steering column that I won't build another build without from now on. I'm not using anything but a collapsible steering shaft, because even with this double U-joint shaft, it's still, I thought it would just fold up like this, and it still had enough power to push that whole steering column back in my face. So definitely recommend doing that for safety wise, but unfortunately it's total. There's nothing left, and it's so far messed up. The roof has actually got some buckles in it. Buckled the quarter panels in the rear. It also pushed the back bumper out the other side of the car about an inch farther than the other side. So it just got done doing all the floors, the trunk, the air ride, replaced all the metal in there. The only thing that was left is to do the external paint on it. And, well, I guess we got to start over. And we're going to start over. A friend of mine's got a 63 Biscayne that he said I could have. And hurting pretty bad financially wise and everything, but I got a lot of parts, like the rear end, the Ford 9-inch that's in here, we can utilize that. The drive shaft, that's probably toast. Not sure about the tranny yet, that's got to come apart yet to see, but we did use the motor and the GMC anyway, so the motor actually was savable, but the turbos, the wastegates, the intercooler, the radiator, everything, all the manifolds that I made, the mounts for it, it just obliterated everything. It also took the Ron Francis Wireworks harness that I had in here, and as well as the LS swap harness, and it destroyed that too. All the wires were going over my steering column here, and the fuse box is mounted right down at the bottom of the feet right here, actually, and it crushed the fuse box. It took all the wires that went over the steering column and it just sheared them all off. In the back, where the wires went to the back tail lights, right where I did all the wheel tubs, I didn't quite finish the driver's side up yet. I just had it tack welded on there when we went to this event, and with it impacted so hard that it opened the tack welds up, the wire harness fell down inside of there, and then it collapsed and it sheared off all the rear wires and stuff as well. So there's almost, the seats are both bent, and the frames on the seats are bent, the dash is destroyed, The steering column is destroyed. All the braking system is destroyed. The shocks are shot. All the A-arms are done. This is all custom fabricated here for the air compressor set right here. The mounts are all welded in for the body. The steering column shaft went down here for the rack and pinion. This is a slider right here for the support for the rack and pinion shaft to go in there. So all of that was all custom fabricated along with our shock mounts, our remote reservoir mounts. Just put all new body mounts on it too, and it sheared out a bunch of bolts on that, and all the body mounts are shot too. So I don't think we could have obliterated more stuff. I mean, there's barely anything savable, and as most of you guys know, insurance didn't cover a nickel of this whatsoever. So I lost my baby, and I can't afford to replace it again. So yeah, it sucks, but yeah, what do? We'll rebuild it and see if we can make it better. And I'll thank everybody for helping out. All the first responders that helped me get me out of the car, out into safety. That was awesome too. So yeah, it's a total loss, but we're gonna recover, and we're gonna do it again though. I'm not quitting getting out of the car stuff at all. We're going full bore into it, and stay tuned for more, guys. I think you guys are going to like what's coming up next. We'll start rebuilding this thing and see what we can do. But, you know, maybe let me know if you got a signatures that might still be on here. I might start auctioning some of this stuff off for somebody to hang on the wall or whatever, and probably going to cut the back of the car off and use maybe the trunk, and maybe I'll make a trailer out of the back of it or something like that yet. Not sure yet, but yeah, just kind of piled all the parts in it for now, threw the cover over it, and hid it from myself for a while. So this is the first time really seen the car again since last fall. So sorry I'm a bit emotional, but this one was brutal. So hope you guys stay along for the ride and see what we're up to next. That's where we're at. Let's see if we can get off the hole that I dug for myself and work my way out again, and hopefully get on to building some really cool shit. So stay tuned for more, guys. Whew.